Hi, welcome back to Backup World. Today we'll learn about Nutanix Backup configuration in Rubrik. So to configure Nutanix Backup, we need some prerequisites. First one, compatibility between Rubrik cluster and Nutanix cluster. Nutanix cluster's IP or fully qualified domain name. Nutanix cluster's UUID. Nutanix Prism user credentials. User should have cluster administrator role, either local or LDAP, TLS or SSL public key generated for the Nutanix cluster. And we need few ports to be opened between Rubrik cluster and Nutanix cluster. Inbound ports 2074 TCP, which is used for Nutanix guest host. 860 3025 3260, which is for iSCSI, and 12800 12801, which are for Rubrik Backup Service ports. And bidirectionally, we need 9440 TCP, which is for Prism connectivity. So these are the prerequisites required to configure Nutanix backup in Rubrik. So to add Nutanix cluster, so we need to navigate settings, data source, Nutanix. When we select Nutanix, we will get two options: add Nutanix cluster and add Prism Central. So standard clusters, we use Nutanix cluster, and for multiple clusters, we use Prism Central. So here we have to select Nutanix cluster. Add Nutanix cluster here. Once we select, we will get the options to add the details: Nutanix cluster name or IP, Nutanix cluster UUID, username, and password. And this is public key which we created. Certificate, and we have to select Rubrik cluster, then add. So once we add it, then we will be able to configure backup for VMs which are in Nutanix clusters. So the navigation for this, VMs, uh, inventory, Nutanix virtual machines. Here we can see three options: Nutanix virtual machines, Prism Central, or clusters, or categories. So if we select virtual machines, individual virtual machines, we can configure. And if we select Prism Central or clusters, we can see all the virtual machines. Either of the option we can use to configure backup, where we will assign SLA domain. And the Nutanix backup workflow, how does it works? When we start the backup in Rubrik, a VM snapshot created on the Nutanix cluster. So here, change region track utilizes for incremental backups. So for vSphere VMs, CBT will be used here. Just similar kind of technology here as well. And once snapshot created, and which will be stored in temporary volume group created, and it, then Rubrik authenticates with volume group, and attaches to the iSCSI target. So data ingest once data is ingested by Rubrik snapshot, so the new snapshot will be removed from here. So this is the Nutanix backup workflow in Rubrik. So recovery options, we have three options to recover Nutanix VMs. So we have recovery files. So if you want to recover individual files, we use recovery files option. And if you want to recover VM, I mean the option of live mode. So if you want to get VM immediately online and for accessing users, we use live mode. So uh, here source data would be Rubrik cluster, and there is two options with the optional migration, without migration. So either of that we can select. And if you want to restore entire VM, so we use export option. So it's just like normal VM recovery. So same options will be available here as well. So this is the today's topic. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe.